Now to tennis.
Okay.
And it's the big week for the tournament formerly known as the Rogers Cup, but now referred to as the National Bank Open. The men are playing at the Aviva Center in Toronto. The women are performing at the IGA Stadium in Montreal. Now, this was supposed to be a showcase for Canadian talent, especially Bianca Andreescu, Denis Shapovalov, and Felix Auger-Aliassime. After all, home court advantage can be a huge difference, or it can be a curse, as the players do want to perform at their best in front of family, friends, and supporters. So there's a bit more pressure there. But when you've got the crowd support, come on. So what the fuck happened last night in Montreal? Now, this is after Shapo and Felix failed in their opening matches in Toronto, so they're out. And now it's up to Bianca now. And she beats a qualifier in her first match in 3 sets, thanks to the crowd, who, if it wasn't for their urging, their influence behind Bianca against this woman from Great Britain, I can't remember her name now, a qualifier that led her to the 3rd set and victory. And you should have seen Bianca urging the crowd on. Let's go, let's go. It was fabulous. She was like a conductor, okay? She was. She basically said to the crowd, get the fuck up and make some noise. Let's go. Got them all riled up because on their own, they're all sitting on their hands, tennis fans. Because that's what happens when you're in a tennis court in North America, especially in Canada. Ooh, let's be quiet, sit on our hands.
Right.
And you go anywhere else, they're screaming and fucking yelling, ah, let's go. Trying to disrupt the other one. So what happens in Montreal when Bianca Andreescu takes on a 26-year-old named Ons Jabeur from Tunisia? Now, I'll tell you right now, Mike, you tell me where Tunisia is. Nobody knows where fucking Tunisia is. Tunisia? And guess what? There's a few dozen fans, maybe 100 fans, waving Tunisian flags inside the IGA Stadium in Montreal, province de Quebec, Canada. Well, there's 5 or 6 Canadian flags, people little waving, waiting for Bianca to win a point before they start cheering, not urging her on against this interloper from Tunisia, Ons Jabeur, who beats Bianca 6-7, 6-4, 6-1 in front of the liveliest crowd I've heard in a long time, but all of them were Tunisians. Disrupting Bianca's game, cheering when she double faulted, cheering when she hit the ball into the net, screaming when she's tossing up her serve, much to the chagrin of yours truly and others, but not the people in Montreal sitting there. What did they do? They looked over and stared at them, didn't do anything about it?
What do you want them to do?
Point for that?
What do you want them to do? I want
them to shut the fuck up. Because I got news for you. Canadian fans wouldn't do that. And they didn't do that. They didn't yell and scream when the girl from Tunisia or any opponent of Bianca's throws a ball up. We're way too nice. I don't care where your family comes from. If you're in Canada, you cannot cheer against the Canadian in Canada. You can't do it. You can't cheer if Bianca hits the ball into the net. You can't cheer if Bianca double faults. And if you do, and I'm in the stands, I'm coming after you.
Wow.
I'm appalled at these fans in Montreal who sat there on their fucking hands while these Tunisians, who I assume are living in Canada,
sure,
and enjoying the fruits of being Canadian, the freedoms here, disrupted play, were constantly warned by the umpire to be quiet, yet continued to shout while Bianca was trying to serve. That's not why she lost the match, but I tell you what, it certainly didn't help. She must have thought, I'm playing in a foreign land. I honestly thought the match was being played in Tunis rather than in Montreal. What happened to home court advantage? Mike, I remember the World Basketball Championships one year at Maple Leaf Gardens. Canada against Greece. And the Greek fans drowned out the Canadians.
Sure.
It was disgusting. I looked at the guys beside me. Where are you guys from? We're from Greektown in Toronto. We're on the Danforth on Chester Avenue. What the fuck are you doing cheering for Greece? Oh, that's our homeland. No, you're from Canada, born and raised.
Wow.
You're cheering against Canada.
Wow.
Do you realize that by cheering for Greece, you want Canada to fail? The country you live in and pay taxes in, you want us to lose. Get the fuck out.
Hebsy, the freedoms you just talked about that these people have come to Canada for, that's one of the freedoms. Freedom to cheer against Canada.
To not disrupt and disobey the rules. Okay. That's not one of the freedoms. Just because you paid for a ticket doesn't mean you can disrupt. Okay.
No,
Doesn't
but
mean
you
can
sure
do those
don't have
things.
to. You can sure, if you wish, you can cheer
Then
for
shut the fuck up.
the opposition.
Dude,
You don't
I'll
have
tell
to
you, how
cheer for
about this?
Canada.
You can cheer when your player hits a winning shot. But to me, that's the same as cheering for somebody to fucking miss a free throw, or cheering for someone to fail.
Which we do every
In that
single
case
free
there-
throw when the opposition takes a
This
free
is
throw. We
different,
do
man.
that.
This is Canada. If she was playing anybody else, go have at it.
Wow.
You're playing a Canadian in Canada.
Wow.
You don't like it,
You're tough.
man? Just shut up.
You got
But
lots of
don't
rules.
disrupt the Canadians. And for all the Canadian fans that sat there and watched it, shame on all of you. You should have said something. You should have out-cheered them. Instead of waiting for Bianca to win a point, you should have urged her on to victory. Instead, you sat in your fucking hands. So the women's quarters are set for today. No Bianca. Sabalenka Azarenka, followed by Pliskova and Sotheby's Tormo, followed by Georgie and Coco Gauff. And in the final match, it's Jabeur against Jessica Pegula. And on the men's side, and I'm going tonight, and there's no Canadian involved, so I don't have any, there's skin in the game for me. There's no Canadian flag to fly. You know, there's no let's sing "Oh Canada," and we're all excited to be Canadians, and we're still, you know, basking in the glory of those gold medals at the Olympics and hearing "Oh Canada" played. We've got Ruud against Tsitsipas, Bautista Agut against Opelka, top seed Daniel Medvedev against Hurkacz, and Isner against Monfils. I'll be there tonight. Come over and say hello.
Enjoy, buddy.
And thanks to one of our listeners, Ken Crossing of Mayfair Clubs. He's the PA announcer at the Toronto event.
Oh.
And thanks to him, I'm going to my first live sporting event in almost 2 years, Mike.
Good for you, man. Report back next week and let us know how this went.
By the way, Sportsnet, you blew it, guys, by having the Monfils TFO match yesterday in front of no fans on an empty grandstand court. Are you telling me Sportsnet couldn't have some influence with Tennis Canada to say, look, Monfils TFO is going to be a good match. TFO just knocked off Shapovalov. Everybody loves Monfils. They're playing in front of nobody, only television cameras and ball boys and ball girls. What a shame. Grandstand court. Come on, man.
One quick
Nobody got a
note
chance to see it live.
about Tunisia, real quick. The one thing I know about Tunisia is that is where they filmed a lot of the desert scenes from Star Wars. That's what I know about Tunisia.
Right. And one more thing.
Okay.
I'm sick and tired of seeing shots of fans in the stands at tennis matches, unless they're famous people. I don't want to see, you know, two average, ordinary people watching and cheering or whatever. Show me the players. Because whenever they do that, they have to cut back and go, oh, while we were away, this is what Bianca did. Why don't you just stay on the players? Stay on them. Go back from one player to the other player. I'm really interested, especially in tennis, is seeing as much of the competitors as possible and as little of the crowd. But this crowd cutaway shot, this, like every producer and director, okay, let's say the crowd. Okay, back to the performer. No, stay with the performer. Unless you've got something great in the crowd.
Or it's a coach or something, right?
No, I don't want to see the coach anyway, because they keep going back to the coach. That's the other one. Coach looks the same. Okay, and cutaway means it should be brief. Quick cutaway, back to it. And that's only if you've got something to cut to. Or there's a reason because one of the tennis players is sticking their finger up their nose. Okay, cut away. That's why. Cut away. We don't want to see her with a finger up her nose.
Now, real quickly before we get to golf here, just for the record here, because I listened to you talk about Andreescu there and what happened. You're saying you would like to legislate that if you buy a ticket to watch a Canadian versus a non-Canadian, you are not allowed to root against the Canadian. Is that what you're saying?
No, not at all, Mike. No, here's what I want. I want everyone to know that if they buy a ticket, okay, and they feel they want to cheer against
Canada,
the Canadian
right,
entry or Canadian team, that they do so at their own risk.
So you could be
That's
punched
all.
in the nose? Is that the deal?
No, not punched in the nose, maybe shouted down.
Oh, sure.
Okay.
That's always a part of the deal, right?
But
That's like the
nobody
social
did it in
contract.
Montreal.
Well, okay.
Okay.
Well, just because you weren't there.
That's right. Fucking right. Okay. So wise up, Montreal.